This is the second 10-minute deep dive on the campsite of developmental readiness. This infographic outlines how to see what a child or teen needs from us adults to promote readiness for academic challenges and life challenges. And that sounds like a massive task, doesn't it? But this is why I map it all out in this campsite metaphor. And you will be able to see developmental readiness by visualizing the three spaces of a campsite. One is the RV for rest and relationship. Two is the waterfront for wonder and wisdom. And third is the campfire for compassion and change. All three are necessary. So if one is missing, just add it in. How to do that in your classroom or in your family is a fantastic opportunity for discussion, which I can coach you through. I can also teach you to anticipate what should come next, to build capacity, to support ongoing developmental readiness in any child or teen. You keep hearing me say capacity and building capacity because this Wolfe wisdom emotion-focused approach is not restricted by the old age and stage view of development. No, this attachment view of development is a constructivist viewpoint, described so well by Kieran Egan in his book, The Educated Mind. Dr. Egan advocates for a view of the child's mind as not simply copying impressions from the world, but as constantly constructing and reconstructing an individual conception of their world. In other words, we're each building a repertoire of abilities to participate and understand our world. I will tell you the sequence of 7 capacities I have seen unfolding in the thousands of children and teens that I have met over decades. The sequence of 7 capacities begins upstream when kids are very young and continues downstream in ongoing life experiences. Everything kids experience upstream will impact the outcomes downstream in child development. Again, imagine a campsite with kids of all ages at play at the waterfront. And far upstream are infants, and they take part in play mostly as an onlooker, watching and listening and filling their senses with whatever is going on. Downstream a bit, toddlers want to touch and taste everything in solitary play, exploring sounds, texture, smell, visual shape, the weight of objects they find, and they even taste them. They test out the chewability. And next, downstream more, kids grow into parallel play to watch another child using the same materials or tools to explore and experiment in parallel by watching the other child and trying to do the same. Downstream again is associative play, using basically show and tell to notice what the other child does in order to compare what they can do and say with what other kids can do and talk about. Downstream more is cooperative play. This adds in sharing. And next, collaborative play adds in the exchange of ideas to build something using your ideas and my ideas. And then creative play is the magnificent downstream ultimate capacity to go beyond my ideas because I hear your ideas and yet build something beyond your ideas too, creating something new to both of us. The upstream to downstream capacity to play includes onlooking, then solitary play, parallel play, associative play, cooperative play, collaborative play, and finally, creative play. The capacity to play is the unfolding of basic abilities to participate and learn. When we know play capacity unfolds in this developmental sequence, then we realize how important it is to give room for play and create opportunities for the next challenging kind of play to unfold. When kids get lots of time and space for play, they head downstream faster. Now, it's important for me to remind all adults that we are not fully in control of child development. Only nature truly determines the timeline, because child development is like a river. It takes a natural course of its own. The adult role is to remove the most problematic impediments, but pushing the river is futile. And this is exactly why patience is an important virtue of teaching and parenting. Of course, we don't settle for just onlooking from an infant. Instead, we energetically engage them in talking, singing, cuddling, and kissing them in serve and return style, like a tennis match. Yet onlooking continues to be a go-to first step at older ages too. Preschoolers, for example, use onlooking when they listen to older kids read and learn about reading. Next thing you know, the preschooler is wanting to look through the book on their own in solitary play, and maybe pointing to the same words as the reader in parallel play. Also, teens use onlooking when they watch parents drive the car, cook, read, or socialize. Take this example of an adult assembling a shelving unit. Soon, the teen anticipates the next step in putting the shelves together in associative style, where they're talking back and forth, and then gathers the correct nuts and bolts in a cooperative role. Or the teen corrects the adult mistakes in a collaborative role. You see, these capacities grow in play, but also in tasks we might call work. I consider these 7 capacities to be inherent in play mode and work mode. And this is why watching kids at a campsite or on a playground tells us lots about their developmental readiness for learning in a classroom. Being an onlooker is not less valuable or less important than being creative. It's the accumulation of all these capacities to use flexibly when they are most useful, which characterizes developmental readiness to the max. When adults are aware of all 7 capacities building, play and work readiness, then we understand our role better in giving time and space for capacities to grow. Onlookers need opportunities for solitary use of materials, and we should not expect them to share too soon. When we notice this child is stuck in solitary play and not moving toward parallel play, we can put a child with good associative capacity in the same physical space and see if that helps. Remember, we cannot push kids to develop faster, but we can give them every opportunity to move downstream. Also, we can work backwards in development. So, for example, teens with ADHD are notoriously bad at onlooking. And so they don't follow step-by-step directions, but adults are clever. We can take poor onlookers on like a guided walking tour to watch other kids in action, making progress toward a finished task. And this gives extra practice with the onlooker style. Plus, we can pair kids up in partnerships to revisit parallel or associative styles to keep them on track with a task from start to finish. Or organize cooperative learning groups if a student relies on one partner too often and needs to feel their independent contribution in a supportive group. Collaborative and creative capacities require confidence with materials and relationships. So if these capacities are not showing up, focus on more solitary time with materials instead of assuming kids will get better at collaborating just because we require more collaborating. Yes, try working backwards in development. So if we want more cooperative and creative work from kids, go backwards and provide more onlooking tasks or solitary time or associative and parallel tasks to build confidence. You will see developmental readiness if you know the 7 capacities in this upstream to downstream sequence. And if you work and live with teens, these capacities apply to their social life. Teens who are stuck in onlooking or solitary styles need opportunities to feel their sameness with peers and feel their connections to adults many times every day. Give them opportunities to move downstream by requiring them to work in the library, the office, assist with technology equipment or gym equipment, in parallel work mode, give them tasks to connect with many adults, different adults in the school, associative style, to make sure they are aware of the cascading levels of support adults can provide. Most of the time, we will be uncovering capacities that teens already have, but are not showing us, rather than building new capacities. This is because teens are hypersensitive to their own social awkwardness and need loads of time to feel comfortable in every single new environment or almost every single new relationship. Collaborative capacity requires lots of confidence, so be patient and ultimately look for opportunities for creative work in areas of strong personal interest for individual teens, because this is when they are authentically themselves. It's very interesting and so true that the 7 readiness capacities are crucial to solving problems in adult life or in our families, in our work, and in our world. Well, that covers deep dive number 2, but please tell me what you think about this material on developmental readiness. You can find WolfeWisdom.ca videos on my website and YouTube. Plus, I connect with colleagues on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So just search emotional development. That's my favorite topic.